Good morning again, everyone. We'll call the meeting to order of the Butler County Commissioners. Please rise for a moment of silent prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amy, public comment?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The public comment portion of our meeting provides residents and taxpayers of Butler County a reasonable opportunity to comment on matters of concern, official action, or deliberation, which are or may be before the board prior to taking official action. Presentations must be limited to 3 minutes. The chairman has asked me to remind everyone that no personal attacks on the character or reputation of county employees, department heads, or any official will be tolerated. Any speaker doing so may be ruled out of order by the chair. I'll call the names in the order that they appear on the sign-in sheet, and when you come to the podium, please state your name and your municipality of residence. Kevin Butler.
Morning, Commissioner.
Good morning, Kevin.
It's a pleasure to be here today. My name is Kevin Boozle. I live in Mercer Township in Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania. On behalf of the county residents and on behalf of my brother and sister firefighters, I'd like to thank you for your actions that you've made towards the retention and recruitment of firefighters in Butler County. It's a very important movement, and we greatly appreciate that. In the same spirit, I'd like to remind the commissioners of the local housing options team. Homeless Awareness Month is coming up in August. It's a very important event.
Point of order. Business before the commissioners.
I'm sorry, I was looking to see if we could have the commission address the board, the homeless advisory board at some point regarding the housing situation.
If you see us individually, we'll address it.
I'm glad to do that.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
James Eckstein.
James Eckstein, Butler Township. My speech today is on pay raises and hiring county new employees. In the first 7 months of 2014, to control taxes and increases, we must control exorbitant pay raises and creating new positions. If we do nothing to reduce spending and continue this accelerated pace of spending, you are guaranteed a tax increase right around the corner when the Sunnyview surplus and the bond slush fund is depleted. The first pay raise in 2014 was a 3% raise for 180 non-union county employees, which was defeated by the salary board with former County Controller McMillan. The January 2014 vote on the issue was then passed 3-1. Yes votes by McCarrier, Pinkerton, and Holland. I voted no. The salary board rejected Eckstein's proposal to compromise of a 1.5% increase instead of 3%. This would have been comparable to senior citizens' Social Security percentage increase and resulted in a total cost in wages and benefits their passing is $300,000. My plan would have reduced it in half. The second wave of the pay raise came only 6 months after the January 2014 increases. These increases are in addition to the 3% raises given at the first of the year for 6 executive secretaries. In 2014, 1 secretary received a 10% increase and 1 received a 12% salary increase. Total amount of spending above Eckstein's plan is $11,000, including wages and benefits. All county executive secretaries earn on average between $62,000 and $75,000 per year. There were 10 new positions created in the first 7 months of 2014. I voted for 5 of them. The total amount of spending for all the new created positions over Eckstein's compromise plan would have been $235,000 per year. When you consider these figures for the first wave and second wave of pay raises and the additional 5 employees, total spending for those 7 months equals $400,000 forever in 7 months. We're on a time frame to hit $700,000. When is this grandiose spending going to stop? When are we going to introduce long-term planning? Neither one of the senior commissioners even had a thimbleful of fiscal restraint, and Mr. Holland must be receiving tutoring from Bill McCarrier. He's a very good student, and been doing exactly what he's told. I give him an A+ in behavior and cronyism. I believe our Big Three's goal must be to equalize our taxes to Allegheny County. to keep businesses and immigrants from infiltrating the border over in Cranberry Township. Sometimes truth is stranger than fiction, but who think government around here operates with common sense and logic? Not me. Thank you very much, Commissioners.
Thank you. Next.
Peggy Abersol.
Good morning, Peggy Eversole, Middlesex Township. Butler County government provides many services and activities for its residents, as can be seen by any bi-weekly agenda that's on county business. In fact, today, Human Services will be providing approximately 100 contracts for services, and Parks and Recreation will be taking and giving bids for pool renovations. Giving notice, I certainly meant no disrespect to any party but providing a public service as a public servant to Butler County residents and taxpayers. Of public concern is giving notice of those available services and activities to the residents. And one way was using the public meetings to do that, which is any county business. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Matthew Deck.
Come on.
Matthew Deck, we're from Butler County. We should already know who I am. I don't know, if you turn around listening to this first thing, I wasn't even gonna speak about it, but it's pertaining under these new contracts for the jail right there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've done roofing, and you know what? Every time I turn around and give a bid or a proposal to do a job for a roof, the people whom I turn around and measure up their roofs and give them a proposal, they want me actually to write down what I'm gonna do, sign a contract with a warranty. What kind of warranty, one, did you get with this jail that you built, that it's falling apart and it's costing millions of dollars every single year to turn around and repair it? Or did you just say, I don't need a proposal, I don't need nothing written, just tell me what you're gonna do and I'm gonna give you the money like I'm gonna do with these guys? That's your policy? That is disgusting, that is below immature, that is even below immature. But as pertaining unto your stuff in the public, I don't agree with the manner in which he says it, says McCarrier, as pertaining unto anything Mr. Eckstein has to say as pertaining unto what's going on here in this county. He almost turned around and sounded like me right here. Some of my speeches right there. McCarrier and Pinkerton are desecrating the Constitution. I agree with that. I think the Constitution's getting desecrated from the United States Supreme Court.
All right, that's not county business.
Well, we'll go back to county business right here because county business consists of this. Do Pennsylvania citizens and citizens of Butler County have a right to redress their grievances of what is happening to them in this county by county employees before the public so that they might see what is occurring here within this county behind closed doors? Or are you a watchdog that says that's not county business, shut your mouth and go away?
Are you done?
If you can give me an answer, I'd like to hear
This
it.
is not a debate time. Thank you for your comments.
Something for the people to think about.
I'd like to answer Matt Deck on that. Look, I believe, you know, he might have said it a little different than some people, or I might say something a little different, but I mean, I thought he was spot on with our right of free speech and our Constitution. I really appreciate him coming today, and I know it's a very touchy issue with him as it is for me, our Constitution, our flag, and our democracy. And I hate to see that being tarnished, and I think we both believe it is, even though we might present ourselves in a little different, but I don't mind that. Thank you very much for coming, Matt, okay?
And I think we all concur with what Commissioner Eckstein just said. Anyone else?
Mark Krasinski.
Morning, Commissioners.
Hi.
Okay, I know I questioned the maintenance repair position earlier, but if this is the result of opening another pod at the prison, I believe we take revenue in every time we open one of those pods. So it kind of sounds like we're going to make a little bit more money, or at least not really make money, but at least go balance out some of the expenses of the county by taking any more either state or federal prisoners. I'm not sure what you were going to do there. Also, I read a little bit about privatizing the prison. Commissioner McCarrier and I talked about that. But not really privatizing the prison, I guess I misspoke that, but just the operation of it. And I think I really think that's a great idea. We have a hard time having county employees. They're expensive. it's the benefit packages and it's the payroll. And it's hard for the county, it seems hard for the county to say no at times to certain things. I agree with Commissioner Eckstein with that. It's hard for the county to say no to pay raises. It's hard for the county to say no to benefit packages. Or have a company, you know, you put them in a bad position and they can't afford it, they'll say no. A great example is Inspect. My roommate in college works there, and he hasn't worked in 3 or 4 months. They've just gotten to the position where they're not the only producer of the chemical that they used to be the only producer of the chemical that they made. Now there's 5 of them and 5 different companies, and they're the smallest one. So they're just not needed as much as they once were.
Stay on track.
Okay, I'm sorry, okay. I'll stand kind of, but like I said, I like the idea of privatizing the operations of the prison. I think that would result in cost savings. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Mark.
I'd like to speak on that.
Sure.
Okay, I'd like to say this. I think we owe it. You know, I'm so proud of the Sunnyview employees. We owe the people at the prison. You know, we have enough trouble around here addressing problems that are problems. I'm not going to speculate on whether we're going to have trouble with the sheriff's deputies closing a contract and privatizing them, or privatizing the guards in prison. I think, you know, we can't, you know, we had a problem at Sunnyview. I really believe in my heart that they ended up with a proposal we could live with, and these two decided to sell Sunnyview. That was the saddest time of my time as commissioner. I think we owe it to the sheriff's deputies and all the guards. I think it's going good down there. We may need to make adjustments, and I hope springs eternal, but we can come up with an amicable solution for both sides. And I'm just not going to speculate on that before it happens. I don't think that's my job. It's bad enough worrying about the things that are broken. You know, let's work out the problems, solve the contract disputes, which I believe everyone's coming up in this year, and let's work together to solve the problem, not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Thank you very much.
Anyone else?
That's all for public comments.
Okay, let's move on. We have minutes from July 9th and July 7th. Is there a motion to approve these minutes?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Old business?
None, sir.
Proclamations?
And none, sir, as well.
New business?
Under new business, under the district attorney's office, District Attorney Rich Goldinger asked me to present this on his behalf. We're asking for your adoption of Resolution 2014-17 to be sent to PennDOT in regard to the 2015 DUI grant. That was approved at a public meeting in May, and it's in the amount of $30,000. This is a resolution that goes to PennDOT in regard to the application process to receive our money.
Is there a motion to approve those?
Okay, I'll second it, Dale.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Next, under Court Administration, Tom Holman.
Hi, Tom.
Good morning.
This morning, I'm asking your permission to make application to the Board of Probation and Parole for the adult probation 2014-15 grant and aid for $126,000. May I have permission to make that application?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? You have your permission.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks.
Next, under Facilities and Operations, John Campbell.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good
Hi,
morning.
John.
Today I'd like to, for approval on the contract for the 911 utilities, to extend it from 7/12/14 to August 15, 2014. No change in the price. This is due to the lead time on the generator. I did talk to Union Electric earlier this week, and I finally got it in Bridgeway, and I'm expecting it this week.
Is there a motion to approve this? Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thanks, John.
Under Human Services, Community Action and Development, Janine Kennedy.
Good morning.
Hi,
Good
Janine.
morning, Janine.
We're requesting to enter into contracts with following agencies for housing services provided under the 2014-2015 Homeless Assistance Program through the Human Services Block Grant. Term of the contracts is July 1st, 2014 through June 30th, 2015. Catholic Charities, $59,000 for rent, mortgage assistance, emergency shelter. Victim Outreach Intervention Center, $55,239 for emergency shelter and bridge housing. And the Lighthouse Foundation, $6,300 for transitional housing. We ask for your approval.
Make the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
We are requesting approval to submit the 2014 through 2019 Commodity Supplemental Food Program, known as CSFP, agreement and plan of operation between our office and Hunger Free Pennsylvania. The term of this agreement is October 1st, 2014 through September 30th of 2019. And this agreement basically just outlines the duties of both parties under the CSFP program, which distributes food to seniors and WIC recipients. We ask for your approval.
So moved. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Janine.
Next are the Human Services Area Agency on Aging and the rest of the Human Services agenda items today. Ann Brown.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Morning, Ann.
First, I'm requesting approval for the renewal contracts with providers serving older adults through the Home and Community-Based Service Program. There are no county funds involved, and payment is made out of the Aging Block Grant. They are with Blackstone Medical Supplies and Medical Equipment, no increase from last year. Concordia Visiting Nurses for the remote monitoring service, no increase from last year. And Valley Care Association for home modification, this is an increase of $50,000 from last year for provide additional modification. Ask your approval of those contracts.
I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next, for Children and Youth, ask your approval of the reappointment of Arlene Quinlan for another 3-year term to the advisory board. Her term will expire July 31st, 2017. Ask your approval of that reappointment.
I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next, I ask you approval of 2 contracts with Banco International. This is for the Children and Youth web-based case management data system, effective July 1st, 2014. The first is the annual user fees, and the second is the consulting and ad hoc as an as-needed basis. Ask your approval of those 2 contracts.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next, I will ask your approval of 26 Children and Youth Juvenile probation contracts for the period July 1st, 2014 through June 30 of 15. These rates are all presented to you beforehand. They're Adoption Connection, Auberly, Fair Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, Butler County Alliance for Children, Check Your Mate Investigation, Southern Adolescent Clinical Associates, Leland Park, Crossroads Group Home, Family Pathways, George Junior Republic, Glen Mills Schools, In-Home Family Focus Services, Keystone Adolescent Center, James Knapp, Life Steps, Dennis McCurdy, MHY Family Services, Mara Palumbi, Pathways Adolescent Center, Mark Snyder, Specialty Outreach Services, Three Rivers Adoption Council, Toten Family Services, Vic Boga, and Vocational and Psychological Services.
I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that. Any discussion?
Sure.
And can I ask you a question, so the public knows, on a lot of these, we have different choices, just so they know this. A lot of these organizations, you can pick from 3, right?
There's several different, they provide different services. Some are foster, some are residential, some are group homes, correct?
Right, so.
So we choose the best placement for the child.
Right, but it gives you a choice.
Yes, exactly.
And a choice for the child, so.
Some of these we may not even use if we don't have the child that needs the service.
Right, thank you. I want to get that out to the public so they don't think that we're just, doing all these contracts. We have access to them.
Right,
But
exactly.
you have 26, so you don't hopefully be doing all afternoon signing contracts.
That's the beginning.
I know you am. Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And I have one more contract for Children and Youth. This is for the fiscal year 13-14. This is a Vision Quest. We have finally said and closed out 13-14 for contracts. We've got the approval from the state for their rates. So the approval of that contract with Vision Quest.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next, I ask you approval of a drug and alcohol prevention, education, outreach, and problem gambling contract with Adagio Health for the fiscal year 14-15. Ask your approval of that contract.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next, I have some contract amendments for the fiscal year 13-14. They're with the Center for Community Resources, the Arc of Butler County, Family Psychological, and Dig Count. After approval of those contract amendments.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion carries.
Next, I ask the approval of some early intervention contract amendments with the Chiva Support, Life Steps, Rehab Care Group, Rehab Links, Talking Toddlers, and Therapy House to add some teaming services to their contract. After approval of those amendments.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? I'll second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And then I have 31 human services contracts for the fiscal year 14-15. They're with Allegheny Valley Schools, Alliance for Nonprofit Resources, Alliance for Behavioral and Developmental Disabilities, Arc of Butler County, Arc Human Services, Armstrong, Indiana County, Beaver County, Butler Memorial Hospital, Catholic Charities, Center for Community Resources, Clarion County, Community Care Connections, Community Health Clinic, Crawford County, Family Psychological Associates, Glade Run Lutheran Services, Goodwill, Southwestern Pennsylvania, Grapevine Center, Irene Stacy, Kids County, Mark Enterprise, Lawrence County, Life Management, Life Steps, Lighthouse Foundation, Mental Health Association, Mercer County, Milestone Center, Residential Recovery Services, Venango County, and Forest. Ask for approval of those contracts.
I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Go ahead.
Mike, can we separate those?
You can.
I'm sorry, these meetings are, I'm just kidding. Thanks for, I'll let it go all at once, okay?
Thank you. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And then I have one contract for the HUD program with Catholic Charities. Ask for approval of that one.
So moved. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That's it for
Please
now.
send up a handful of pens when you send those.
They're already sitting up there on your desk.
And I have one question. Does, you know, this, I know we didn't, I don't think we used up all our allotment for home modifications for senior citizens last year. Did we get a decrease in that because of that, or we have the same, or you don't know?
I don't know, you'd have to talk to Beth about that. Her and Billy Joe are at a training today, so they asked me to present the contract.
Oh, okay, I'll talk to Beth about it.
But I would say they've got an increase, being that they increased the contract by $50,000.
Can you say that again? Sorry.
They increased the contract by $50,000
For that?
for that home
Oh.
modification, yes.
Oh, I'm so grateful for that,
Yeah,
because
so-
I think we have to promote that more. I think it's so important. Okay,
I
I'll
think
talk
they
to
got it in the
Beth.
middle of the year, so they didn't have a full year's allocation.
Oh, okay,
So
okay,
that's probably why they're increasing the contract.
okay.
But you can
That-
verify that with Beth.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ian.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Next, under Planning Commission, the CDBG program, Wendy Leslie.
Hi, Wendy.
Commissioners. First item, we're asking your approval to advertise for bids for Shakora Borough Water Line Replacement Project. The bids will be due into the County Controller's Office by 2 p.m. on Friday, August 22nd, and opened at our agenda setting meeting at 9:30 on Monday, August 25th. There will be a pre-bid meeting held on Monday, August 4th at 10 a.m. at the Shakora Maintenance Building, which is located at 110 Water Street in Shakora. Bid documents can be picked up at the office of McGarvey Engineering at 172 Woodcrest Drive, Butler, for a fee of $40 a set. All details are included in the advertisement, and potential bidders can call McGarvey Engineering at 724-282-0391 if they have any questions. We ask for your approval.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I'd just like to say this, that's really important. All the commissions agree. We passed this over a year ago to get Shakora Borough water lines. I mean, that just flew past. I'm so happy to get that underway. It's so much needed. So that's a great thing.
And it should be completed before the end of this year.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah.
The next item I have, we're asking your approval to void a previous cooperation agreement, which was between the Housing Authority, Jefferson Township, and the County of Butler for housing rehab in Jefferson Township using Jefferson CDBG 2013 funding. This was passed at the June 11th, 2014 meeting. The Redevelopment Authority is a separate entity, and they are the department that will be handling the housing rehab. So I'm asking you to avoid that previous cooperation agreement.
Is there a motion to do that? So moved.
I'll second that motion.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And therefore, I'm asking your approval to enter into a cooperation agreement between the Redevelopment Authority, Jefferson Township, and the county for that housing rehab, using Jefferson Township's 2013 CDBG funds, which was a total of $75,529. And this agreement will be in effect until January 31st, 2017, and this will rehab approximately 6 homes in the township. These are Jefferson Township CDBG funds, and there's no county dollars involved. We're asking for your approval.
I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Yes.
That is just rehab, not tearing them down, right?
No, it's housing rehab, yes.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Wendy.
First, under Commissioners, we have the consideration of a request from Allegheny Aquatic Alliance for support of the Conquenessing Creek cleanup. I'd like to ask approval to table this item until the representatives are here to make a presentation. We weren't sure if they were coming today or at a future public meeting.
I'll make the motion. Is there a second to the motion to table?
I'll gladly second that.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Next, we'd like your approval of the 2014-2015 sponsor agreement for the Senior Community Service Employment Program with authorization for the chairman to sign. And here to make the presentation is Larry Garvin.
Thank you.
Morning, Larry.
Good morning,
Hi,
Commissioners.
Larry.
It's a pleasure to be here this morning to seek your approval for the continuation of the long-time running Butler County Senior Aid Program. This program is sponsored by the Butler County Commissioners and provides employment and training opportunities for low-income Butler County residents age 55 and over. This year we're receiving a budget of $158,983. This will provide 20 hours per week of part-time employment. We have a network of host agencies throughout Butler County that we assign the senior aides to gain work experience, hopefully to gain the confidence they need to move on to unsubsidized employment. So this morning we will seek your approval to continue the Butler County Senior Aid Program for the year July 2014 through June 2015.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thanks,
Thanks.
Larry. Thanks for the program.
Great.
Next, we'd like your ratification of the approval of a letter of credit from Farmers National Bank in the amount of $2,000 to secure the county's obligations under the approved land development plan for the Cranberry MDJ office project. We'd like your approval.
Is there a motion?
I'd like to make that motion.
I'll second it. Those in favor?
Can I make a comment
Sure.
here? Our controller, I don't want to, I get accused lots of times of not thanking people. I want to thank the controller. They made us bond this, and he thought of a way to cut costs and make it less than half.
idea.
So, huh?
That was my idea.
No, that's what I just said. Or I'm sorry, the solicitor. I apologize. I tried to compliment and I screwed
I
up.
finally did something right.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say, the solicitor. Well, I have a rough day. I've got a lot on my plate. I'd like to apologize for giving the controller credit for what you did. Okay? But the solicitor did that, and I messed that up. But thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you.
Because I owe you a large amount.
Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
I think I should abstain. My son's a director of the Farmers Bank, and I'm a stockholder in the bank, so I will abstain for those reasons.
Okay.
The motion carries.
Thank you. And our last item under Commissioners is approval of change order GC01 for the basement of the Cranberry MDJ office project with authorization for the chief clerk to sign off. And here to answer any questions is
Is there a motion to approve this?
I make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion, I think we have explained what happened here. This building, under the rules and regulations, would have had to have an elevator in it because the basement is over a certain square footage, and this is is this a state law? Cranberry Township, I think it's state, isn't it?
I think it's Cranberry Township.
Cranberry Township, okay.
3,000 feet.
So we cut down the size of the basement and made part of it a crawl space. So this is a change order. It's far less money than it would have been if we put the elevator in. Any other discussion? Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Under Parks and Recreation, the first item is a report on the bid opening for the Alameda Pool renovation project. And here is Gary Pinkerton from Parks and Recreation.
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
As the board is aware, on Monday's agenda setting, we opened bids for the renovation of Alameda Pool. We received 4 bids, one from Patterson Stevens Incorporated, Stone Ridge Incorporated, Specialty Pool Contractors Incorporated, and Portview Plumbing, Inc. After the meeting, the board is aware that we met with the pool consultant who attended the bid opening, and based on the discussion and the meeting with the Board of Commissioners, I'm here today to recommend the awarding of the pool renovation project to Specialty Pools Incorporated, Contractors Incorporated out of Pittsburgh, recommending awarding the base bid, and add alternates 2 through 9 for a total project cost of $1,077,455.
I'll make the motion. And excuse me, that was a low bid, is that correct?
That was, yes, yes.
I have a motion. Is there a second? I will second it. Discussion?
Yeah, discussion on this. They had a meeting the other day on this in the other commissioner's office. I bypassed the meeting, and I didn't do it by mistake. I felt that these are very, very large amounts of money. We're not supposed to talk about money behind closed doors. I'd like the public to know they're proposing to have, I didn't participate on purpose on that because I didn't think it was correct. I want to discuss all these expenditures in public. I believe the money allotted was for this project was $900,000 when we got the when we did the grant. When we got the grant money, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I felt it was $900,000. So we're like $177,000 over budget on this issue. Look. This is Alameda Park. Nobody from Cranberry is going to come to Alameda to swim. Nobody from Harrisville is going to come. Very few are coming from Alameda to swim. They'll go to their friend's house. I mean, we're doing this. We're over budget. I mean, from what I can see, the proposal was $900,000. I got a lot of complaints about this from different municipalities with pools and different people when it was $900,000. Now we're $170,000 more than that. I don't know where we're getting the money. Maybe somebody can explain that to me, where that other $170,000, $7,000 is going to come from. And I don't think we need all these options. The amount was about $700,000 to do the pool of what we absolutely had to do to make it, and I agree with that. Replacing piping and doing things to make the pool, it's been 20 years since it was plastered. Look, to give you an idea, they just were going to rip out the concrete up there, but nobody at home would rip it out. Nobody would rip it out. Would the other commissioners or Gary give me anything on that? No. We're just going to rip everything out. It's taxpayers, it's the state's money, who cares? But we're way over on this. I mean, I think we ought to have a very vibrant discussion on this. Where are we coming up with the $177,000 extra? Why are we doing all these options and not meeting our budget? You have the floor.
Gary, I think you have $350 from timber sales. Is that correct?
We have $300,000. At this point in time, Commissioners, we have a grant of $400,000 from DCNR. We have $300,000 from the timber sale at Alameda Park, and we're and $377,455 from legacy funds. We had originally allocated and balance left in the current legacy funds that have been allocated for the pool renovation over the past years. We have a balance of $244,200. It would be awarding the bid as recommended would require an additional $133,255 of legacy funds to fully fund the project as recommended to the board.
Okay.
Okay. Question, so we're taking legacy funds that are supposed to use throughout the whole county for different areas, for parks, and that's what I feel, you know, for all these different areas. And we, you know, we already allotted some of that for Glade Run Lake, so we're taking basically 2 years' worth and dumping it into the pool in Butler County, in the center of Butler County. That's right, 377,000? That's about.
That would be the total, yes.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm just against that. I think that these good funds come into use parks. I think we should be spread throughout the county and cut the budget. If we cut this budget back, we'll be able to do that. You know, that's the way I see it.
Any other discussion?
I'd just like to say that Jim was right. If I lived in Cranberry, I wouldn't come up and use that pool, because their pool, right now, is in better shape and has more facilities in it than the county pool will have. So, and they don't have to drive that far. We've talked about this pool now for 6.5 years I've been on this board, and I believe that if we're going to do it, we should do it in the right manner, and I agree wholeheartedly with what you're doing and what your committee has done and how hard they've worked on it, so I'm all for the pool.
I believe there are very few public pools in Butler County. Is that correct? Gary?
From our location north, there's only one other public pool, and that would be the YMCA pool at Armco. Up until the Y took over Armco, we were the most northern public pool in the county.
I know when I was a kid living in West Sunbury, Alameda Pool wasn't there at that time. Butler Memorial Pool was, and we'd come to Butler to swim in Butler Memorial Pool, because that was the only pool in northern Butler County. There wasn't any in northern Butler County at that time. They had one at Rock Falls Park, and then caved in, but something happened to them.
Gary, can you correct me if I'm wrong on that? Weren't we at 900,000? I had the one sheet and I was right in front of me. But when we originally did this and people called me up complaining, we were originally at 900,000.
We were based on the estimates that were provided in the full feasibility study and the items that were selected at that point in time. We were looking at a project cost of $900,000. Again, one of the things that has always been a discussion is whether or not we were going to install the spray pad at this point in time. If you look at the print, the original spray pad cost estimate was $225,000 for the spray pad within that Alameda pool. The reason why we're recommending the spray pad be considered part of the project is the spray pad was bid at $120,500. So there's a significant difference of $75,000 from the original cost. Discussion at that time was that maybe on down the road, 2-3 years, we come back and put the spray pad in place. Based on our meeting with our consultant, you know, he indicated that the longer we wait, it's an excellent price. The farther on we go, we would definitely have an additional increase in the cost of the spray pad, plus also the possibility of redoing some of the work in the original bid because of the location of that.
I was just at Armco Park, and they have increased, because of the spray pad, their attendance doubled because for the little kids and so forth. In the last year, it has doubled because of that. And it's a great thing for young people and young kids and babies and so forth, so I agree.
Any other discussion?
I'd like to say this, I find it highly unlikely that our attendances go to double and we lose money on the pool every year. I just like to take fiscal restraint here, and you gotta end this somewhere, except when we go out and buy a new pickup truck. I just didn't, you know, I bought a pickup truck recently. I got a good used one, not as many options. And that's where I'm coming from on this, not to not do the project. I'd like to make that clear. I just want to stick to budget. You know, we can have all the options you want, but the truck still gets me from my house to this, and it gets me here good. So I just, it's not, I want to make this clear. I'm not going to spend zero, but I think we should have made a budget. Thanks.
Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
Motion carries.
Commissioner, also as a quick follow-up so that the board is aware, Cranberry Township is also currently up for bid for renovation of their swimming pool. Their pool actually opened in 1997, 98, I believe, in that area. We opened in 1972. and their proposed renovation is actually greater than the award that we just made today.
Thanks for the information.
Thanks, Gary.
Gary, you do have one additional item.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. This is the easy one, right? Very honestly, today we're asking permission to enter into an administrative agreement with Winfield Township for their DCNR grant for the construction of a restroom facility within Winfield Township Community Park. The only county money involved in the project, of course, is the grant that we provided to them from the local park renovation grant program. Total project cost is $60,000.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Gary.
It was the easier one.
I'm glad somebody made a mistake besides me today.
I try to help, Commissioner.
Yeah, thank you, Gary.
Is there a motion to approve the budgetary transfers?
I'll second it.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve the new hires? So moved. Is there a second? I'll second it. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve the travel requests? So moved.
I'll second it.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve the requisitions? So moved.
I'll second it.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve the check register?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Kayla?
Couple questions for Gary. Is this the second renovation in the pool's 42 years?
Yes, we renovated in 1998 and basically did a base renovation on the pool facility.
And why did you decide to leave off the winterization cover?
Very honestly, one of the reasons for the leave off the winterization cover is if we continue to do our fishing in the swimming pool, we're already green. You know, we've already taken all the chlorine out of the water. In order to effectively use the cover, you know, we have to cover the pool just like you do a home pool when it's clear and chlorinated. The other problem comes in is cleaning and storage for us. The size of Alameda pool would require the cover to be in 4 sections, and would also have to go around our water play features, and it just becomes so much more cumbersome.
Okay, thank you. That's all for me.
Gary, can I ask you a question on that? We save water, right? Or, you know, by not refilling the pool?
The thing is, Commissioner, and again, our fishing tournament is such a big event, and it grew again last year. We talked about eliminating it when we first did the feasibility study, but with the Fall Fest being incorporated in the Fall Fest, it again became a big event for the park department and actually produced us a positive revenue. We in turn would have to refilter the water and bring it back up, clear it and all that before we would be able to put the winter cover on.
So you're not doing the...
We're not doing the winter cover.
Okay, that's what
we're still going to continue doing how we would normally do, where we get the assistance of the Facilities and Operations Department and come out and we actually drain the pool, scrub the pool, and refill it.
Oh, you still are going to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's really only a one-day event.
Okay.
That's all. Go ahead.
Thank you. Gary, that would be the low bid using those particular alternates,
That's correct.
because that might change had you picked, had there been another recommendation.
And there was possibly some change, but very honestly, the second bid in regard eliminating the alternate that we did, and that would be Portview Plumbing, and their price awarding what we just did would be $1,112,600.
Thank you. And Commissioner McCarrier, on the meeting that Commissioner Eckstein skipped, was there any deliberation that occurred?
All we did was sit there and listen to the recommendations from Wade Associates, or Passion Associates.
No, Wade.
Wait. Thank you. That's all I have.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?